raise your hands if you've been to an Indian wedding before.
Now keep your hands raised if you have worn traditional Indian clothing to any of those weddings.
And keep your hands raised if you spent hundreds of dollars on outfits for those same weddings. This is a problem. Meet Ria. She's 25, and her college roommate Kavita is getting married. To attend, she needs a few outfits. One for the welcome party, the Madhura, the haldi, the ceremony, and obviously the reception. That's 5 outfits for one wedding. Now, multiply that by the 6 weddings that she's been invited to this year alone. That's thousands of dollars for clothes that her friends might see on her Instagram once, but end up staying in her closet collecting dust.
Ria isn't the problem, the market is. Right now, buying or renting Indian clothing happens through unorganized Facebook groups and chaotic WhatsApp chats. You're forced to spend hundreds of dollars on an outfit you'll wear once and trusting a stranger online with your money and your measurements.
That's where Desi Closets comes in. We are building a peer-to-peer marketplace where users can easily buy, sell, or rent traditional South Asian fashion. We're turning the clothes that are already in your closets into income for lenders and affordable luxury for renters. We are handling the stressful parts so that you can focus on just looking good.
This includes using AI to solve common problems, one of them being too many choices. Nobody has time to scroll through thousands of options right before a wedding. That's why we're building a chatbot. Simply list the event, the theme, and even filter by rating, and our chatbot will curate a short list for you in seconds. And then there's the main hurdle of online shopping. Will this actually look good on me? Our solution is to integrate our own internal try-on AI, so users can upload one photo and instantly see the clothes mapped on their body. That's how maybe I'll like it turns into I love it, and how we keep return rates low while we grow.
The South Asian community in the United States is one of the fastest growing, most tech-savvy, highest disposable income demographics in the country, and they spend heavily on these multi-day events and weddings. At the same time, the resale and rental fashion industry is growing at 11 times the pace of traditional retail. Desi Closets sits right at that intersection. Our competition doesn't. They're often asset-heavy rental companies like Allbar, which can't scale because they're too capital intensive. And then we have generalist platforms like Facebook Marketplace, which have limited choice and no cultural trust. Our moat is a hyper-localized network. Once we earn trust in a community, peer accountability will police the platform for us. That's not something that a competitor can just copy from the outside.
Our business model is built to generate revenue through 4 streams: a $9.99 monthly flat rate subscription model and a 15% commission on every rental or sale, a $300 monthly subscription fee for boutiques to sell directly on our platform, third-party advertising revenue, and finally, point-of-sale upsells like priority listings or cleanings. While most startups waste capital building an MVP that they hope people want, we did the opposite. We validated the demand first. 0 marketing spend on social media, 50,000 views in just 30 days, and a growing wait list of people begging to get in. The demand came before the product did.
And we have the team that can build what the demand calls for. Marina is a product lead at CVS Health and drives our company's strategy. Dylan's a software engineer at Next Era Energy and is building our infrastructure to actually scale. Noel's a former investment banker and has over $15 billion of buy-side M&A experience and anchors our financial strategy. And I've spent my time at Yale College in the venture-backed startup world, creating the perfect playbook this company needs to succeed. This isn't a problem our parents' generation had. It's ours, and we're the ones building the solution for it.
That's why we're looking to raise $100,000 through a safe at a $2.9 million valuation cap. This funding would go towards product development, marketing and launch, and legal, insurance, and compliance expenses.
The future of fashion is shared. Let's build it together with Desi Closets. Thank you.
Great job. Love the enthusiasm. I guess the first question is, when you guys did the wait list, did you guys present the pricing? And what was the feedback on that?
Well, I guess, what do you mean by that?
The $9.99 subscription?
Oh yeah, so we've been advertising the pricing, and I mean, it's been pretty good feedback. Our waitlist is still growing, and people support it. I think they see that it's easy for them to make a profit just on one rental, and still be able to pay off that fee pretty quickly.
Have you thought about not doing an access fee?
Yes, we have. This is called a freemium model subscription. And companies often do this where they have a free version of the app and they expect a conversion rate of people to pay for the subscription model. But when we've done like our market research, we saw that that conversion rate is very low, from 2 to 5%. We are focused on a community, building a community of people who trust in this product, and then creating this hyper-localized network where people know they can come to Desi Closets for a satisfaction guarantee. So we believe that having this flat rate fee will allow people to know that this is a trusted platform and they can come onto it so they can make their money back.
And on top of that, that's one of the ways we're maximizing our revenue, and we're also ensuring that we're kind of filtering out the people that might try to rent out products that aren't high quality. They're not going to be making the money, they might fall out of there. And so this kind of helps filter that out as well.
Amazing presentation. Like Robin said, the confidence was 10 out of 10. You know, you guys leaned into each other, played off of each other, you know, brought a model on to show us hey, this pain point.
Can we get a round of applause for a model, please?
Thank you. I guess my question, so I love eBay, right? I just like finding unique things that there's only one in the world, or buy things new there. But eBay does a really good job of policing. Meaning, if you buy, a pair of Yeezys or something from eBay, it goes to an authenticator in Cleveland, Ohio. They actually look at it, they put a little tag on it so you know you're buying a real shoe and you're not getting scammed. So can you just walk us through, how do you police this, right? How do you ensure the person that sent the dress dry cleaned it first, right? And similar to Airbnb and early days of Uber, where riders rated the drivers and drivers were just walk us through how if I'm paying $9.99, how are you making sure that you're policing this and it's a great experience?
I'm really glad you mentioned Uber, because that's essentially what we're doing here. The market regulates itself by allowing for the sellers to rate the lenders and for the lenders to rate the sellers. After a period of time, you know who's a trusted seller and who's a trusted lender. I think on your point of returning the rental at if it comes back deformed or not dry cleaned or even completely destroyed, right? We have a couple solutions for that. There's case by case basis, of course, but we have security measures. We are verifying identities. We are having the credit card on file. Yep. If something comes back to the renter at a if it's not cleaned, you can charge a cleaning fee. If it's completely destroyed, we've thought of that as well. Having the original price of the lenga or sari on the listing itself, so you know that once you're buying or renting one of these traditional clothings, you know what you pay for and you know what you're getting in return.
So we're asking for government issue IDs as part of our validation process, and then, like you said, if you don't return the outfit or it's completely destroyed, you have the original cost of the outfit as well, so you'll get charged that to the credit card we have on file.
Got it. Yeah, we're Indian. We sweat a lot. We got to make sure it's clean, right, when it's going through. So the guardrails are really important. But yeah, I think that answers the question. I mean, there is some sort of sellers rating buyer, buyers rating seller type scenario on that. So I had another question, but I'll pass it to Richard Gabby.
Go ahead.
We talked about this earlier, but I think there's a huge chicken and egg challenge here. You can't get someone to go to Daisy Closets if they don't have great dresses to see when they get there. So you actually need to build, I would love to hear not the demand, but like how are you going to create the supply? And that needs to be like, oh my gosh, I got every color, it has my, when I click my size, there's 10 options, right? And so walk us through how you're going to get inventory.
Absolutely. So there's two sides of the business. I'm going to start with the asset heavy side. The boutiques that are in these, high density cities like Chicago. I'm sure a lot of people from Chicago are here. They've heard of Devon Street. Have you heard of Devon Street, people from Chicago? Yes? Of course, right? There is a high concentration of Indian boutiques and Indian sellers that, sell, high-end traditional clothing on their sites. That's an easy way for us to fill inventory, and we've already started reaching out to a number of those boutiques in the Chicago area and also in other major cities like Dallas and New York. And then on the other side, we have talked, and on the other side of the business is the consumer side. We have talked to our you called it the super customer, correct?
Super cohort.
The super cohort. We've talked to our super cohort. There are so many people in the audience, aunties, JGs, like my friends, and the men as well. You have, dozens of dresses that you may have worn once to these weddings and then never wear again. Not to mention weddings, birthday parties, cultural events, all of these things. You have dozens of these dresses that you don't wear anymore. Why let them sit in your closet and depreciate in value when you can list them on our e-commerce site and allow yourself to make the money back that you spent on these high-end clothes? We are solving a problem that's so prevalent in our South Asian community, and we believe that the inventory will come when they, not because they feel the need of just listing the items, but because they feel like they can benefit from this. They can make money off the app as well.
So that was my question too, is on inventory, because it's critical. So would you want to do a survey in this room to see how many of the people here would like to offer their wares for rental?
Sure, let's do it. How many of you guys, with a show of hands, would like to list your clothes that you don't use anymore at all? Clothes that don't fit, clothes that don't look right on you, things that you don't want to wear anymore. Look at this crowd, right? Look at
I'm
this
sold.
I'm sold. This is the community that we're targeting. We thought of this very, very strategically. And
So let's ask the other side of it. You've got the supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
So how many people would be willing to pay $10 just to see the inventory? A month.
Yeah. And okay, and so that's a great
supply
question.
and so how do you think about that?
Okay, great question. I think this is a problem of marketing, not a problem of like the pricing. Dylan can jump in on this, but how much does an average sari cost, or an average South Asian piece of clothing?
I mean, it can go anywhere from upwards of $250 to $600-700.
Like hundreds of dollars, right? So let's take the high end of that, right? If you have a $600 sari, okay, and you rent it out for 3 days to one lender in the Chicago area, you might make $40 a day on that sari, okay? That's $120. That right there already pays for your annual subscription cost. This platform is not just a place for people to list their items, but it's a place for people to really buy and sell.
Yeah, I think the assumption there though is
The people understand.
No, that people want to immediately sell or put their product up for selling. If I have an event coming up in 2 weeks, I'm not interested in putting something up to cover my expense. I need to look at the inventory to see if I want to rent something else from someone else. So,
Another thing we're considering is having like a 3-month free trial period. I mean, just so, to get our name out there, to get people to start looking at the app and scrolling through these options. I mean, we need to grow our inventory and have customers, so that's something we're considering as well.
So I think this is great. I love how you guys got the crowd going and surveying the room. I'm going to ask you about a shift in the business model design. I'd love to hear your defense to this. You've got too many variables in my opinion. Two-sided marketplace. You need buyers to follow steps, sellers to follow steps, timeline, shipping. These dresses are friggin' heavy. My wife's dresses, it's gonna cost a lot of money just to ship these things. So one thought would be to eliminate the variable. And are you familiar with consignment? Consignment means you give me your dress, you give it to Daisy Closet, and we'll just warehouse it and inventory it for you, and when someone buys it, not rents it, we will give you a cut. And it makes the business a lot easier to get the supply side, and it makes it a lot easier on variable. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, does it really need to be like, you know, Brittany's
Logistical
Yeah,
nightmare.
logistical nightmare of like,
And there's actually, that brings up, I'll tell you about my wife. You know, we have to have 2 closets dedicated to just ink, right? So there is another problem that exists here of just the storage of everything. So this might be an opportunity for you guys to think about and solve.
So you're saying there was a storage problem for your wife, correct?
Yeah, she has 2 closets full
Yes.
of the inside.
So we want to solve that problem for her. Why should she, like, be overwhelmed by the amount of saris that she doesn't even wear anymore? When she can list them on her app and have them rented out.
Yeah, but she still has to hold it until someone wants to rent one of those, right? She still has to hold all that inventory.
I mean, that could be an option for her to also still want to wear them here and there. Like, that's one thing we wanted to address, and then 2, we didn't want to be very inventory heavy and take on another cost ourselves. I think having on file, like with you, you're able to make your money, but also still rock it yourself if you do want to wear it on occasion.
And also, just on like looking at the comparables, like, have you heard of apps like Depop and Rent the Run? Not Rent the Run, but Depop. Depop has a very similar system as us, where it's a peer-to-peer marketplace. There are other companies like Rent the Runway, for example, that are asset heavy. They do what you just said.
Yep.
They take all the inventory and they house it.
Yep.
Their company has went from the IPO at $300 a share to $3. They are losing money year by year because they are spending so much money on housing the inventory. It is just too capital intensive. We want to take away that problem and just have we are building like a trusted network for people to
but like what you're saying is like, if you can just educate people who
Yeah.
have address to take a photo
Yeah.
and put it on your app.
Yeah.
And then just sit back and do nothing, right? And when someone else is looking for a dress, they get a notification that says, hey, this person will buy your dress, it's the right size, right fit, and then they get a cut. You just remove 90% of the variables, but still solve a similar problem. And you're only shipping something heavy once because you've made your cut, right? So just something to think about. But
Right.
I think the first word. Sorry, we're out of time.
Let's give it up
Great
for
job,
Desi.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.